I'm Eric Marchand, host of Cinema Scene, your source for the latest in movie news and reviews. White Lines, an animated documentary, illustrates subject Travis Wilcox's addiction to cocaine starting at the age of 14. Powerful and candid, this documentary short captures the downward spiral of substance abuse in just over 4 minutes. Let's roll the teaser trailer.
When I was a kid, I always played hockey, so I was always tied up in the hockey arenas and I wasn't out getting into much trouble. You know, I got into high school and I wasn't really into playing hockey anymore. I got my first job working at a restaurant. I was doing dishes at East Side Mario's, and a friend of mine worked there too. He was a little bit older, and some of the waitresses there he started hanging around with, and they were the ones that were doing it. I tried it, and then I started doing it.
Joining me now are the filmmakers behind White Lines, Jessie Posthumus, producer, director, and animator, along with Hanna Jovin, art director and illustrator. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
It's a powerful documentary. The first question I wanted to ask you two is, how did this project get started?
It started a long time ago in our writing class. We basically just had to pick someone interesting to do a documentary on, and it was literally the night before. I was like, I have no one. And my sister was like, oh, I know this guy who had like an addiction problem, you should contact him. And I called him, and we ended up talking for like 45 minutes. He told me his entire story. And I recorded it just for like, I don't even know why I recorded it. It was kind of like, oh, if I ever want to like look back on anything, it's there. So then we kind of like, that project kind of got left behind, and I had this recording just sitting on my computer for so long, and I was listening back to it, and his voice is so honest and powerful. I was like, I need to do something with this. And then the next semester we had an animation class, and Hanna was in it, and we kind of last minute again were like, we need to pick a project to work on, and I showed her it, and we were just like, this is really great, we gotta do something with it.
Yeah, when I listened to it, it was amazing, and his voice was just so honest, and it felt like something that could be so incredible, and I knew that immediately when I heard it, I was like, Jessie, we need to make something, like I really want to jump on this project, and so we decided, let's do an animated documentary, and that's kind of how it got started, really.
And he's sharing his deepest, darkest demons with you. When you first talked to him, what was he like on the phone in terms of approach and just sort of getting into the sort of the main story of his life?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything you hear in it is from that first conversation we have. He is someone I know. He's my brother-in-law, actually, so it's not like it was my first time talking to him or anything.
Right.
But he was very like factual about it. It was sort of like, this is what happened here and here and here, and he didn't get too emotional about it or anything. It was just kind of, at the end, he was sort of like, I don't want you to judge me, but like, here's everything, and it was super honest, like beginning to end.
Can you talk a little bit about the animation style? I think it's really interesting in terms of 2D drawings, and it's different from, you know, the 3D animated feature films that we see nowadays, especially in 2D as well.
Yeah, couldn't imagine making anything in 3D. That sounds terrifying.
Yes.
But it was based off Jonas Odell, a filmmaker, Swedish. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Yeah.
We'll fact check that later.
Yeah, he made a film called Never Like the First Time, and it was just, again, like interviews with people saying how they lost their virginities, and he did these like beautiful 2D animations over them, like a different style for each one, and I always thought that was really great. So we kind of took it from that, and then Hanna's drawing style was...
Yeah.
You can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jonas Odell's work, and when I saw that, I knew that I could potentially do something similar, and my drawing style is totally different, but I knew that it could probably fit something like the story that Travis was telling, and I wanted it to feel kind of childlike, and I wanted the drawings to be very organic, and I knew that it was going to be black and white. So we made some of these decisions before, and then I drew up a few drawings of what I thought Travis might look like, and I'd never seen his face before because we kind of wanted to, we weren't sure if it was going to be anonymous or not. We weren't sure if he was, you know, at the end of it when he saw it, is he going to want to, you know, put his name on it? You never know, right? So I never saw his face. I kind of drew up a few stuff. I showed it to Jessie, and we kind of agreed on this style, and the 2D stuff was doable. We've never done animation before. but still challenging in its own way, right?
Well,
Yeah.
when you're listening to his voice, what did you visualize in terms of his facial features and who he was? Because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you're listening to him as he's much older now, and,
Yes.
and he's talking about being a teenager and being
Yeah.
addicted as well.
Yeah. Well, I pictured a 14-year-old boy and like what that might look like, and I wanted it to feel like maybe he could have drawn it himself, you know, like I wanted it to feel organic, and like I didn't want it to be like perfectly drawn, like these illustrations that are perfect. I wanted it to feel rough, and I wanted the edges, and you can tell nothing is perfect. It's not like perfectly drawn. It's kind of has like a messy feeling to it, and that's because I wanted it to feel that way, and I wanted it to be something that like a teenager, like he was a teenager. It's mind-blowing to me. So that's what I pictured when I knew I could kind of relate that in the visual style of the film.
Now, we have to wrap up, but before we go, where can people see the short?
It's on Vimeo.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you just search White Lines, Jessie Posthumus, Hanna Jovin, animated documentary, you'll find it there.
And the two of you are working on a project right now. Can you
Yes.
spare any details?
I wrote a script in the summer. It's called I Love You More Than Vodka.
Yeah.
It's about two girls on their last night together. One's leaving for Europe, and they basically have like a drunken venture in Toronto, so very different. And then I got Hanna to direct it.
Yeah.
Well, it's very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, it
please
is.
come back on the show when you're promoting that film.
Yes,
and,
we'd love to.
I wish we had more time because I could go on forever. I have a whole list of questions.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
this
no
time,
problem.
and your documentary is incredible. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you, Eric.